Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Imperial Diecast. Today I got something really interesting here. This is a 1/43 scale model made by Solido, a company that for years has otherwise only been known for their 1/18 models. But I think since the end of 2022 they've started making 1/43 scale models, which they sell for roughly half the MSRP of their 1/18s. Which isn't really fair in my opinion, as a 1/43 model isn't half as big as a 1/18 and also doesn't have any opening doors like their 1/18 models do. But the price, which is around 25 euros, give or take, is still in the range of most normal priced 1/43s made by other companies like Kyosho or Norev. So let's see what detail levels Solido can offer compared to those companies. Being a 1/43 scale model, it comes in a hard plastic display case, so you can immediately take it out of the box and put it on display without having to worry about dust ever again. On the base it says Audi S8 D3 5.2-liter V10 made by Solido. So yeah, let's take it out of the box. And so the car we're looking at here is a performance version of the Audi A8, the S8, from the D3 generation that was made from 2006 to 2010. The D3 is the second generation of the Audi A8, with the first gen being the D2 made from 1996 to 2003. I actually have in my possession a 1/18 D2 Audi S8 made by Automobile. You can check out my full review of that car at the end of this video. But in this review, let's focus on its successor, the D3. While the D2 S8 had a V8 engine, the D3 S8 has a V10, which you can see is labeled behind the fenders. The D3 Audi S8's 5.2-liter V10 engine that takes just over 5 seconds to achieve 0 to 100 kph is in fact, and this might come as a surprise to you, the same engine that later ended up in the second-gen Lamborghini Gallardo, the LP560-4. The only difference being that the Gen 2 Gallardo's 5.2-liter V10 has been tuned by about 100 more horsepower from the D3 S8's respectable 444 horsepower, which is still a big improvement over the D2 Audi S8's V8 engine, which only had 355 horsepower. The S8 engine, I believe, also ended up in the first-gen Audi R8 5.2 FSI Quattro, which, by the way, I've also reviewed, but in 1/24 scale. So taking a look at the front of the 1/43 D3 Audi S8 by Solido, obviously the biggest visual difference the D3 has over the D2 is the single-frame grille, because on the D2, this front grille was split in half by the bodywork extending outward to form the front bumper. Another thing worth pointing out is that the S8 highlights the vertical struts on the grille in chrome, while the regular A8 highlights the horizontal slats on the grille. So overall, I think that Solido has done a solid job in highlighting the chrome on this grille. It's got the Audi S8 on the license plate. The 4 rings of Audi is also 3-dimensional. It's like a photo-etched piece. It even says S8 to the left of it. And then we have these chrome accents right here and here. And we also have chrome on the mirror sculpts, which is always nice, as well as the indicator DRL strip, which you can see right there and there. However, one thing that I don't like about the front of this model is, and this is perhaps the only thing that I don't like about the model, the headlights are just a little too fogged up. This is a flaw on every single one of these models. This is not just something on my model. I feel like that they could have made the headlights a little clearer, because that's the only thing that makes this Solido perhaps a little less collectible compared to maybe the same model that Minichamps might have made 10 years ago, if they did. I have reviewed the Audi A6 Avant in 1/43, which was made by Minichamps, and it did have pegs on the headlight, and it didn't have window glass in the front passenger's side. But otherwise, if you want to check out that review, I'll also link to it at the end of this video, just to give you an idea of what the quality difference is. But this is a brand new Solido that's made and released in 2023, so I would have expected a little bit extra details when it comes to the headlights. And taking a look at the side of the D3 Audi S8, you can see that this is the classic Audi A8 design. We've got the rounded front edge right over here. And then we've got a chrome trim line along with chrome door handles. And of course the aforementioned V10 badging. Got chrome around the window line. And if we take a closer look at the wheels, you can see that they have the Audi logo on them right there. It's a little hard to see, but the 4 rings are there, surrounded by 5 lug nuts. And the wheels roll really nicely. And here's a look at the back wheel. And behind the wheels, we actually do get brake discs and calipers, although there aren't any details on the discs. Under the flash, you can also see that this isn't a gloss black, but actually has like a little bit of a metallic flaking on it, which is very subtle, so it's nice to see. Now the windshield has like this blue trim to protect it from sunlight, I guess, which is kind of interesting. And then we also have a sunroof. And unfortunately on mine there are some scuff marks, which is really the only real flaw on my particular model. So that's a little disappointing. But otherwise, the overall paint quality on this model is good. And here's a look at the back of the D3 Audi S8, which is of course famous for its particularly big and nicely rectangular taillights. These got thinner and more angled over time, and I think they look really good on these older models. In the middle we actually have the 4 rings of Audi, which is a 3-dimensional molding on the car body, which is good. Got the Audi S8 plates, and then next to it also says S8 once again. But just returning to the taillights, I think that the taillights are done really nicely. This is arguably something that's even better looking than the headlights, because we have no pegs, no fogged upness. It's just lots of detail visible here, so that's nice. Another feature of the S8 is you get 4 chromed exhaust pipes compared to the A8. And Solido also made sure to include the defroster lines on the rear windshield. So that's a little extra bit of detail, and I think it also looks okay. And now let's check out the car's interior. And you can see that the interior is actually really nicely done. I mean, for a 143 scale car, you've got a lot of details going on here. Specifically all the buttons right there around the manual transmission, I think it is. Anyway, we've got air vents up here on the dash with a little depth to them, which is also nice. We've got another air vent right here. And the seats, I don't know. Yeah, you can see that the seats also look very well, even though they're black and a little harder to see. Oh yeah, that line that you see right there is actually a scratch, which is horrible. But only under this particular lighting does it look this bad. Under normal light conditions, it doesn't look that bad. But that's another issue with these Solidos, is that the windshield quality isn't all too great. I mean, it's not perfect. And taking a look at the driver's side. So as you can see, the Audi rings are on the steering wheel, which is nice. And then behind it we have an instrument binnacle, which I'll try to get flash on in a moment. But interior otherwise is pretty decent, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, look at that. We even have like the gauges behind the steering wheel, so they also have some detail on them, which is nice. And then here We also have some air vents for the rear passengers. Not much else though. Well, you can see a little bit of a door panel detailing right there. So, yeah, that's also okay. Taking a look at the bottom of the car. Not much to see here. It does say 143 Audi S8 D3. And you've got the Solido logo at the top. A little bit of exhaust detail with the mufflers and the 4 exhausts painted in silver. That's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the 143 scale Solido Audi S8 of the D3 generation. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Is it really worth 25 euros? Well, just about. And if you're also interested in more Audi reviews, I have them right up here. So take care. Have a nice day. This is Imperial Diecast, signing out.